Let's go, Tennessee fans. I know you're feeling good about this victory on the road versus Mississippi State. Comment below what concerns you the most. And as many of you know, I mostly focus in on Joey Aguilar and the Josh Heupel offense, but it would be dumb for me to not mention the defense scoring not one but two touchdowns. Joey Aguilar played well. I do think this was a game where his receivers really pushed him through. And you could see right here, he's throwing with really good anticipation. He sees that there is a leverage advantage. He sees that this corner is definitely locked in with this receiver. It's just you airmail it to Miles Kitselman. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. So Arkansas's defense was destroyed by Notre Dame with a very simple idea. We are going to throw quickly in the direction of the blitz. So you have a little RPO action right here. And what could be built into these offenses is if this inside receiver sees a blitz, we're going to cut this route off as quickly as we can and run right into that space. Okay, really, really, really good stuff. And guess what? Something else about these plays is that your quarterback's not going to take as big of a hit as he once did because it's going to be a penalty. They really protected the QBs today, and he sits in there and throws the football to me right now, the best receiver in the SEC. I know it's going to be met with some criticism. I would probably say Cam Coleman's the most complete, but Chris Brazzel, wow. So Joey took the punishment. It was an extra 15 yards. So we move ahead to this red zone play, and honestly, this is just really good stuff by Joey. He sees if the safety is peeking in. He feels Brazzel's going to beat him in a foot race to the back. So guess what? You just wait and just throw it over the top. It really is beautiful, beautiful offense right here. Look at that. Boom. Look at that. And that's actually a good job by 20 trying to punch the football out, but Brazzel takes it all the way to the turf. So it's 17-17. Of course, you just throw an effort ball to number 17. First off, look at this release off the line of scrimmage, okay? He really sizes him up, and then boom, okay? Inside release, and it's off to the races. You can see the corner is reaching here, and man, that's Uno. That should be your guy right there. And now Joey Aguilar says, look, I'm going to look over here for as long as I possibly can, have that safety come over the top, and turn this into a dangerous throw. This ball also is fluttering, so Brazzel, because it is a back shoulder throw, look at this catch. Look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely positively ridiculous stuff from number 17. This is a Tennessee stream, I should say. Peerless Price. How about that? So we get to this 4th and 2. A really aggressive call right here, especially with a defense that's playing mostly fine. Man, this play and just throwing to running backs out of the backfield on 4th and short just works. I don't know exactly why. It's how Alabama ended the game versus Tennessee. I say Tennessee versus Georgia, and you throw the football into the flat, and Star Thomas still has some work to do, and he gets it done. What a season up to this point for number 9. And Tennessee fans, you know I'm always going to bring this up. You should always recruit running backs from the state of Louisiana, baby. So playing offensive line on the road versus Mississippi State with the clangas can be really difficult. But man, this O-line for Tennessee really passes off this loop or twist stunt over the middle. Man, that's really good stuff. And if this is going to happen, you need these offensive tackles over here to hold up, and that's good enough, okay? And so all you need is for Miles Kitselman to make this catch. You can see at the bottom, these receivers are stacked, and obviously Kitselman is running behind Brazzel, and his job is essentially just to block and force some friction right there. And look at this throw. Boom. Okay, good hands catch right there for Miles, and it's a big first down in the red zone. Alrighty, so this right here is a very interesting design. This is probably my favorite Josh Heupel play because one thing that teams really struggle with is pulling offensive linemen, right? And the great OCs in this conference right now, Lane Kiffin included, do a really good job of pulling offensive linemen to have this defense try to guess what type of play they're running. So when you see a left tackle pull in this scenario, you're thinking that this is definitely going to be some type of run up the middle. Instead, it's a quick screen. So you'll see right here, they're running a screen to the left, but it's actually the left tackle coming over to decoy to the right, and every other offensive lineman is actually releasing to the left. And watch what just this does attached to a play action fake. You can see that this defender right here is heavily shaded in this direction. And then you have all these defensive linemen in the backfield. So it's an easy little pull read right here. And look at all these blockers you have in space. Okay, really good stuff. Miles Kitzelman, look at that block. Really, really, really sexy stuff. And now you need Mike to make something happen. And he does, right? Mike, believe it or not, was the leading receiver in this game. So Brazzel had the big catches, but this was huge right here at this juncture in the game. Really good play. All right, so bad quarterbacking here from Joey. He was a little high on his throws in this game, so you QB mechanic experts, let me know, okay? And you could see that this ball is rising up in the air, and he's high to Miles Kitzelman, who's a tall receiver. That's a tough spot. You don't want to put your tight end in a spot where he's having to leave his feet, and now you're in trouble, okay? Please hit the subscribe button because I'm going through withdrawals right now because my team, the LSU Tigers, are really struggling throwing the football deep. And part of throwing the football deep is just giving a guy a chance to make a play. And right now, Garrett Nussmeier, nursing a bit of an injury, is not being able to generate even enough on these throws. And you can see the protection does eventually break, but it's still good. It allows Brazzel to go down the field. And basically, this is just the Georgia game all over again. Okay, first off, give Joey Aguilar a lot of credit just stepping into this throw, getting crushed right there by a defensive tackle, and just giving his alpha receiver a chance to make this play. So versus Georgia, they didn't call the small little push, and that's because you were at home, okay? And when you're on the road versus Mississippi State, they're going to call you for it. It wasn't much, but one thing you've noticed, if you watch closely enough, and it seems like it's just common knowledge or just knowledge you assume to be correct, the 50-50 pass interference calls 90% of the time are going to go in favor of the home team. Alrighty, let's go to this 3rd and 4. There was so much that happened in this game. If you haven't watched it, make sure you check it out. There was a fake punt, and then there was a scoop and score, and then Mississippi State had a crazy play, and then they eventually kicked the field goal. And we get to here, okay? There was an issue in this game with the middle of this Tennessee offensive line, and what I think a lot of teams are struggling with now are these twist and loops where you think you have a double as a left guard, but you'll see right here that the center at the last second comes over to pick up this blitzer coming around, and guess what? The left guard's like, oh, I thought I had center help up the middle, and now he doesn't, okay? So now there's A-gap pressure, which is the worst type of pressure, and Joey Aguilar is throwing with the anticipation right here to Miles Kitzelman, and you can see that this throw is dangerous, okay? It needs to be put on a line. You prefer to not have him jump up into the air. Once you jump up into the air, a lot of chaos can happen. You can get hit. So Kitzelman jumps when he didn't really need to. It hits him in the face mask, and it pops right up into the air, and 99% of the time it is going to be intercepted. Alrighty, so we get to this 4th and 4, and by the way, Tennessee fans, there is a new way to support us with memberships. Yeah, you get bonus film studies that don't actually make this one. There was a huge missed call in Tennessee's favor that helped them get to this point on 4th and 4, plus a burgeoning superstar on this team that I go into deeper detail about. This is just everybody stepping up and making a big play. So you pass off the loop again. Good stuff. Okay, so you need a really good pocket to sort out this 4th and 4 play. And you can see Brazzel does a good job. He's not open here. Just go to the next window, and Aguilar just waits for him. And God, this is not easy. We don't have the end zone copy of this, But look at Aguilar. Footwork, not the absolute best, but he just throws his football with the anticipation into this next window. Look at that. Boom. Okay. Now, once again, it was high, right? That happens when your footwork gets a little choppy, but it's enough for a first. Once again, the middle of this Tennessee offensive line, give the offensive tackles a lot of credit. They held up. There was a lot of miscommunications over the middle. So the guard fans out to help the end. The center leaves the nose unblocked and slides to the left. And now you're left with a running back blocking a DT, and he's late to get over. And now you're in a lot of trouble. But because you're running an out right here with 14, he makes an absolutely positively massive play. What is his name? Bryce. Man, that is ridiculous stuff right there. And now we need you to step up and do something after the catch. And what does he do? Just that. He is a very physical, competitive player. And this is the ultimate thing that I love about Joey Aguilar. He's not the most talented runner in the SEC. He's not even top 5, maybe not even top 7 if we're being honest. But in the red zone, he's money. He is so money, okay? Good stuff right here by the backup tight end 3, who mostly played in garbage time last week. God, that is just big. That is a big, big, big block, and Joey Aguilar is able to score. Can someone explain the jiggly mouthpiece thing? Like, it's utterly ridiculous. Like, football fashion disgusts me. The baggy undershirts, what are we doing? We get to overtime. Lance Hurd, my goodness gracious. You'll get an extra angle here. And Tennessee fans, what a gutsy win. It's weird because you'll hear people say, and by the way, that's a great broken tackle right there by Bishop. You'll hear people say that Tennessee was lucky to win this game, and you did get 2 defensive touchdowns, and it still took overtime to win. But you had a massive yard per play advantage. You also had the iffy pass interference call go against you. You had a massive total yard advantage. So, look, it was just a 50-50 game, and Josh Heupel's offense just had answers when you really needed it, and that's why, to me, he is no less than a top 3 coach in the SEC. I mean, look at this movement right here. Lance wasn't great last year. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That is just filthy. It is filthy stuff. It really is. And when you open up holes this wide, it helps with the broken tackles, right? Because it gives Bishop that much more room to run through here. You guys let me know who number 3 is. I mean, he had some really nice blocks in this game. Van Java. I don't know. Sounds Danish or something like that. What a game. The tight end last names for Tennessee, Kitzelman, Van Daba. That's crazy. But the Vols are still a top 5 power-rated team in the SEC for me. I mean, the offense is just so unfreaking believably explosive and powerful. And the defense is timely. There is one big, and I mean absolutely massive defensive red flag that it takes a long time to explain. But guess what? We did a Georgia breakdown earlier this week to explain it. Why the Tennessee defense might be doomed. It's a very weird thing, and it's floating in your face right now. Boom! It is Power Hour SEC. Boom! And tonight we are doing some mahi mahi. Let's go.